While the Florida Gators football team is looking to bounce back from a turbulent season opener against the Miami Hurricanes, they aren't the only Sunshine State squad that's gotten off to a bit of a rocky start this fall. The Florida State Seminoles made the wrong kind of history with their loss to Boston College last night. We'll have more on FSU's free fall in the polls this week and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
I'm Jack Meyer here with everything you need to know about what's going on in the wide world of sports today. We're starting off at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium as the Florida Gators are still recovering from a disastrous season-opening loss to the Miami Hurricanes. WUFT's Ben McLeish has more on what went wrong for UF and how the team will look to potentially get back on track. Now, things may not seem great for the Gators as of right now, but heading up a few hours north of Tallahassee, the Florida State Seminoles aren't looking too hot either. FSU is coming off another shocking loss, this time at the hands of the Boston College Eagles, to drop to 0-2 to kick off the 2024 campaign. Seminoles quarterback DJ Uiagalelei once again struggled to hit his marks, completing just 21 of his 42 passes on Monday night. Beyond a pair of impressive catches from wide receiver Kentron Poitier in the third quarter, FSU managed to generate next to no offense throughout the evening, going 3 for 14 on third downs and only picking up 21 yards on the ground. This marks FSU's second consecutive loss following a Week 0 stunner that saw the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets knock off the defending ACC champions in a 24-21 upset win. These back-to-back losses were enough for the previously 10th-ranked Seminoles to fall out of the top 25 entirely. FSU did not receive a single vote in this week's AP poll, making them just the third team since 1989 to start a season in the top 10 before immediately falling out of the top 25 in the first poll of the season. Now let's take the show out west to Colorado, where the Florida Gators volleyball team is coming off an impressive slate of action. Florida went 3-0 in the land of the Rockies this weekend to start off its season in style. The Gators came away with a pair of victories over Colorado State and Northern Colorado earlier in the weekend before completing their 3-0 sweep with a dominant performance against Michigan State on Sunday evening. All this came in spite of preseason All-SEC team member Alexis Stuckey sitting out the entire weekend, as she continues to recover from a torn ACL she sustained last season. Florida's impressive start to the new year has apparently turned some heads, as the Gators have now officially entered the top 10 in the latest NCAA coaches poll. UF will return to the Stephen C. O'Connell Center this coming weekend to play host to USF, Southern Indiana, and Ohio State in the Florida Invitational. Now we're going to stay put on the volleyball court, as tonight will feature plenty of high school action across the greater North Florida area. The Trenton Tigers will kick tonight's slate off by playing host to the St. Francis Catholic Wolves at 6 p.m. Later on in the evening, the Buchholz Bobcats will hit the road to take on the Westport Wolfpack at 6:30 p.m. Wrapping up the day's festivities, the undefeated The Rock Lions will take on the 6-3 Santa Fe Raiders. That match is set to kick off at 7 p.m. And finally, the Tampa Bay Rays are set to make their way back onto the diamond against the Minnesota Twins this evening. Jeffrey Springs is expected to take the mound for Tampa Bay tonight, with first pitch set for 6:50 p.m. Tampa Bay is coming off a 5-4 loss to Minnesota last night, so hopefully they can use this to possibly get back on track.
Yeah, you know, Jack, I'm originally from Tampa, so I'm a huge Rays fan.
Oof, I mean, they've been under 500 for pretty much the entire year, so hopefully things get better for you guys eventually.
Yeah, and I gotta say that loss must really be raining on your parade. And speaking of rain, Matthew, I hear we're gonna be getting a lot of it this week. Can you give us one last good look at the weather?
Yeah, as you can take a look on that 7-day outlook, those rain chances remain relatively high through Thursday into the weekend. Temperatures on the good news don't reach the 90s for the most part, because by the time it gets to that high temperature, it's starting to rain, cooling those temperatures down. So it is going to be kind of rainy as we head throughout this week.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.